with the Silver Day where there wasn't a lot of conversation, there wasn't a lot of talk, and I thought, okay, we need to talk about this because it needs to be your seminar, not mine. And that's what's so important about this. So basically, I'm going to expect to see you applying these kinds of strategies when we finish talking about the Lord of the Flies. So basically, what preparing for seminar means is to decide what questions do you have that you want to ask and what ideas do you have that you want to explore. Okay, here's some of your responsibilities. I expect you to come to seminar. It's more than just reading the book. I expect you to have questions. What are you wondering about? What doesn't make sense? What do you think is going to happen? What connections? I expect you to have points you want to make. And I expect you have ideas that you want to clarify. Remember that seminar is about everybody coming to being smarter together. It's not about waiting for me to throw out the next idea. Seminar, your responsibility is to direct the flow of your discussion with the seminar. It's not my job, that's your job. Your responsibility is to decide, what does seminar mean to you? This is the point of post-seminar. I don't expect to see everybody's post-seminar say the exact same thing, and that's kind of what I'm seeing. I expect you to construct, and I use the word construct purposely. Construct is to build your own analysis of the seminar. What did you learn? What's still a question? I expect to see and hear critical thinking, critical listening, and critical communication skills. And finally, I want to see you respecting and honoring the opinions and voices of all your participants. A good seminar gets everybody thinking. A good seminar brings out lots of opinions with lots of support and lots of ideas getting thrown around. Having responsibility for seminar means that you bring questions, connections, ideas, and understandings, and that's what should direct the seminar. Yours, not mine. So that means before you come to seminar, you need to read the text, but you also need to do more than just read. You need to prepare to do this kind of thinking. In order to prepare, you need to do active reading. Active conversation requires active reading. Active reading, the focus is on the part of the story we're going to talk about. Active reading means you're using a response journal, your reading response log, double entry journals, lit circle roll sheets, post-it notes, your copy of the book. Active reading means you're reading it at least 2 times. The first time, the main question is what's happening, and this should have come out in your lit circle discussions. A lot of your lit circle is kind of wasted time. I'm going to have to kind of come down hard on some of your lit circles. And the second reading, which is what should come out of your literature circle discussion, this time you want different questions. You want to look for things you might have missed in your first reading, that you need to mark the passages and words that make an impression on you. Remember that your peers may ask you to look for particular things, generalizations you want to make, and themes or concepts you want to do. You need to be ready to ask good questions. I come to your seminar with questions written. Questions from things that I'm curious about in the story. Questions that don't have a single right answer. This is discussion, not a test. Good discussion questions, when you write them, you think about, okay, what kind of a question is going to open up our thinking? What can I throw out there to get us out of the box that we're in? That can best be answered by references, that they're open-ended. They're not a single right answer. That's a test question. They're thought-provoking. They're controversial. People are going to disagree. You have to look back on what you already know. You have to bring your experience to the text. We can look at it throughout the book and come up with different answers. That may be a really good discussion question. I could ask for section 1 through 3 and get an answer. And I could ask the same question through 4 through 6 and get a different answer. And another question that I can ask 7 through 9 and get still a different answer. And good discussion questions lead to other questions. Okay, let's go back. I want you to rethink about this again. Okay, preparing for seminar means it's not enough to just read the book. You have to read as an active reader, an active thinker. That first time that you do to prepare for Lit Circle, whatever comes out of your Lit Circle discussion is what leads to the second reading for seminar. Okay, Lit Circle is first, seminar is second, and you need to be ready to ask these good discussion questions. All right, there's different kinds of seminar questions, and I prepare all of these kinds of questions. To begin with, you have to have questions at that literal level. How can I talk about things at a symbolic, theme, or allegorical level if we can't agree on the important facts? So sometimes you have to have close-ended questions, but not icky-picky, but on the important or the big ideas. And that's the discussion director. That's all those other roll sheets. And this is what should have gotten worked out in Lit Circle. Open-ended questions are where the seminar thrives. What does it mean? Things that are going to require proof, group discussion, construction of logic, bringing out the clues and adding them up. So that's the second kind of question. A third kind of question are literary analysis questions. Remember that the author has chosen to compose this book. He's put the cues in there, and you got to put them together. And again, there's those theme questions. This gets us to another level of discussion. You're going to have to go back and examine these levels of questioning when I'm finished. And finally, the world connection questions. This gets at thematic. What's the point? This also gets at allegory. What else can this stand for? Again, go back and rethink these levels of questioning. Literal level, open-ended level, literary analysis level, core questions, and world connection questions. Another way to think about getting ready for seminar is to look at the kinds of thinking your roll sheet prompts you to do. Look at the discussion director. They focus your thinking on big ideas in this section. They focus your thinking on key questions, key details, conflict, events and conflict. Go back and look at this. What questions can you ask? Look at the profiler. The profile focuses on character. It looks at character change. What contributes to the change? Why do they change? Why don't they change? What stays the same? Who changes the most? These are all really good seminar questions. The Luminary, again, starts with big ideas, but then it looks at quotes. What quotes raise questions? What do you think are the most important quotes? What quote do you think tells the most or raises the most questions? All of these are excellent preparation for seminar. In summary, preparing for seminar doesn't mean just reading the pages, throwing in post-its that you never look at again, and making lists that your reading response log that you never go back and add up. That you never go back and look for patterns, questions, gaps. It does mean thinking about what you understand, what you don't understand, how it all adds up, how it connects to what you've already read, what interests you, what do you want to talk more about. I'm going to be looking in seminar for notes that you've made, annotations that you're reading, questions that you've listed, post-it notes that actually have things written on them, quotes that you've circled in your book. I went through this really fast. You're going to need to go back and review this, please. Take notes. Maybe a graphic organizer will help you. And then apply the notes, please. I'm going to be looking for all of these things when you come to seminar. And I'm looking for absolutely fabulous seminar for this next section.